Hi everyone, welcome. This is Christina of iloveintuition.com, and I am excited because I have a very special guest today, and it is my dear friend and fellow coaching goddess, Anne-Marie Roth. She is the founder of nourishyourpurpose.com. I just want to say a few words about this awesome woman. She really has changed my life. Just number one, by being around her presence and energy, and she's so dedicated to what she does. Very loving, she's been doing this for years, and it really shows in the amount of commitment that she brings forth to her own learning process and the ability to teach it to others. And also, I've been a receiver of her wonderful gifts, one of those being her life purpose discovery hand analysis readings, which are like totally blew my mind, which are amazing, and you must experience that for yourself. She is also somebody who really helps you to step up and claim who it is that you are. She does this through life purpose consulting as well as longevity coaching. She is the queen of health and wellness. I love getting her weekly easings because she's got like such good tips about learning how to take control of your health and take responsibility so that you can really live purposefully in your life. She also provides classes and workshops and is here to really empower you to live your path and to fuel your passions as well. So let's just give a big warm hug to Anne-Marie Roth. So say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Hi, Christina.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Thank you. I'm really excited to just converse today and dialogue soul to soul with you because I love what you do. And today we really want to dive into the topic of food and our wellness and nourishing our purpose. I know for myself, food and wellness has just been kind of my own personal path, and I'm definitely not the expert in this, which is why I wanted to bring Anne-Marie and have her share with you why this is so important for us. So let's get in. So tell us why foods? Why is eating and why is what we put into our bodies and the way that we nourish ourselves, why is that important to fulfilling our purpose?
That's a really big question, and it's such an important question because it's one that we don't often give that much thought to, or we think about it in terms of the physical, and it does certainly start with the physical. Mm-hmm. One of the things I say a lot is that even if we know our purpose, if we know why we're here, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to live it. And a lot of things can get in the way of living it. And one of those things really is, on the physical level, how we treat ourselves with the foods we eat. It's really as simple as that. We can use food to really support ourselves, to help us grow and move forward and be beautiful, glowing, radiant beings. Mm-hmm. And we can also use foods to hide out, to stay in the background, so that we're not noticed, and we can even use foods in a way that really harms our physical beings. So that's basically on the physical level why it's so important. Mm-hmm. Another really important piece, though, and one that I've learned about all of them because I've certainly used food to hold myself back. One of the things I've learned, though, in my experience of working with food and learning how I can use food in different ways to really support my health and my business, is that I can also use food to support my spiritual growth and my spiritual journey. Absolutely. And it works the same way. I can use food to help me connect with Source, to help manage my energies and keep my energy up, my spiritual energy up, my sense of beauty and oneness and connection with all beings up, maintain the awareness of that connection. I can also use food to block that connection. The connection is always there, but I can, if I choose to, use food to just kind of like dim the switch, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so for those of us who are on spiritual paths and who bring kind of a spiritual identity into our lives in a more in a more public way, it isn't necessarily like if we're using it for work, but just if it's part of who we are and who we present to the world, then really exploring our relationship with food and how it can support that part of our journey, that part of our process, is really, really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how you said it can help me become closer to source or spirit, or I can use it to dim the switch or disconnect myself, which is really, really important because I just think I know for myself, just when I started eating mindfully, I noticed that I did feel more connected. I was actually, my intuitive readings got like way better. Number one was like more of a physical piece to it. But I think just soulfully, I felt more empowered to honor my body and to give it the fuel that it needs so that I can continue to share what it is that I want to share.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important. And so what do you find are the biggest things that get in the way of people eating more mindfully in their lives?
I think there are a few things. One is simply kind of like societal, cultural, familial norms and expectations. These for most of us, these are like lifelong kind of patterns and habits and rituals that we've developed around food. So it's not, unless you're someone who really only sees food as like calories as something kind of mechanical, if you don't really, unless you're someone who doesn't have any kind of emotional association with food or connection to food, it's not necessarily an easy switch, because most do have these lifelong connections and associations with food, and the associations can be very positive, even though perhaps some of the food isn't.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Like I remember like growing up in my family, I have a big family, and on our birthdays, we all got to pick, our birthday meal and the kind of birthday cake we wanted. And I usually would pick my mother's homemade lasagna, right? It's so good. I mean, like I think about it, I'm many years away from that dinner table. I still remember how it tastes. I can still remember eagerly, I looked forward to it, and then to like the chocolate birthday cake afterward. I mean, all of it, it comes right back to me. It's a very positive association and memory I have of it. That food itself, though, on a physical level, and later in life, I realized too, on a more of a energetic level, really weighed me down and impaired my health. So on the one hand, I have a positive association with it. On the other hand, it really didn't serve me that well. And then I come from this big family where most of my family members pretty much eat the way we ate growing up. I think for the most part, I'm the only one who's really significantly changed the way I eat.
Yes.
And you're like the one person at the dinner table who's eaten kind of differently, like at family gatherings. That, so there are things like that, can get in the way, can put someone off, can even derail a person for a time. I also think, though, a huge part is just our society today is like, most of us are in such a hurry. We have so many things on our plate, so many places to be and things to do. Our calendars are booked up, from morning to night. And so a lot of us feel like we don't even have the time, most days, to think about what we're going to eat, let alone really take the time to pay attention to the meal. So, that hope we'd like to think we'd be enjoying. Society is just set up in such a way today that it doesn't really support mindfulness. If you decide that you're going to take a different approach for yourself, you're kind of going against the grain. And at first, that can feel difficult.
But I totally understand. I think the first thing what you said about the whole culture and family and having the associations with that is so true. I know for myself, I'm the only one that's a vegetarian in my family, and I have a Filipino family, and Filipino food is so meaty. Oh my gosh, I mean, you live in the Philippines, so and it's just kind of like one of those things where it's, you don't want to have everyone change for you, or they have to cook a meal for you or whatever. So, for myself, I've figured out ways to just kind of show up at parties fed.
Yeah, you bring your own stuff.
And taking responsibility for myself so that I can still feel nourished and have fun and not, make other people go out of the way. But I think that is a huge thing that can definitely deter people.
And I think that you make a really good point, because I think one of the opportunities we have when we do decide that we're going to shift something, say in our relationship with food, is that when we can show up at a family function or a social gathering with friends and say, bring something, to share, but, something we can eat, and just be cool about it. Not, it's not about judging. It's not about telling people what to do, but it's just kind of modeling like, this is the way I eat, and I'm good with it. I accept myself. I love myself. It serves me. And other folks can have their reactions and their responses, and that's okay, because they're at where they're at. But sometimes we get so focused on the food, we forget about the connection with the people.
I love that. Thank you.
So when we can just show up with food and be cool with it, so that we can have a good time with people, as opposed to it becoming an issue, a wedge or something, then that really shows that we've really kind of crossed some milestones in our relationship.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. It's like bringing the connection of when we're being mindful with our food, we're nourishing our connection to ourself and source and spirit and our purpose, and then allowing for that when we're with company and using this element of us being able to show up as a way to continue to connect with others too. So how can we start changing our relationship and our approach to eating mindfully in our lives and making fun? Because I know that it can be really tough for people to start to shift the way that we eat.
Yeah. Actually, I think one really important piece that I really, encourage people to do is, unless they're facing a really serious health problem that's forcing them to make some really quick changes, I really recommend that folks just start by being aware. That's it. No pressure. Just watch. When you're, after you eat something or when you're eating something, just notice, how are you feeling? Are you actually enjoying it? And how are you feeling afterwards? And just start paying attention. That's it. And don't put any rules on yourself. Don't say I, as of this date, I'm no longer eating such and such, or I'm only going to eat this stuff. Just take it nice and easy to begin with, really, and just bring an awareness to what you're eating and how you're feeling and how it's affecting you. Is it giving you more energy? Is it slowing you down? Is it weighing you down? Is it making you tired? Are you not digesting it? And are you walking around feeling really uncomfortable in your body? That kind of thing. Just the awareness. And it's kind of like bringing a sense of curiosity to it, just to see. You're just kind of checking things out. That's it. And then from there, it's kind of like, I don't have kids, so I don't really know if this is a fair analogy, but I think of Dora the Explorer comes to mind. It's you can put on your Dora the Explorer hat and start experimenting and exploring and seeing what shifts do help. With that, one of the first things I suggest folks do, again, instead of changing anything with their food, is to build in some mindfulness practice before they eat, so that it gives them a chance to slow down, take some nice centering breaths, and really tune into their food. And so they're approaching the food they eat more mindfully there. So the actual like shifts with what you eat will come later. So, but it's all about exploring. It really is. It's like this attitude of curiosity and fun and looking at different foods for me at least, like from a culinary perspective. Because I really like food. I don't like to eat things that don't taste good. Yes. I won't eat them. I like a lot of foods though, and I like trying new foods. So for me, approaching it from that perspective has been really helpful too, because it's like, oh, I get to try these new things and see what I think, see how they work for me. Do I really, do I enjoy them? Because there's just so many flavors out there in the world.
So what I'm hearing is number one is just to be aware.
Yeah.
So having the awareness, noticing when you're eating, how does it make you feel? What are your energy levels with that? How is it affecting you? And then not putting any rules on it. I thought that was one thing that really stuck out, because I think that's where we get boxed in, and it becomes this dreadful change rather than a place of curiosity and play. Step two from there is putting on the Door Explorer hat and being really curious and see, well, what shifts can I make that help me? What foods can I eat that make me feel really good? And noticing how that shift starts to affect your body. And I love how you said that the other shifts will start to come as you bring in the mindfulness and start to bring in this element of, okay, so what can I start to bring in that actually makes me feel good? So I know that you've got a free teleclass that you're teaching that's coming up. And I definitely want to be able to share that. And the teleclass, which I'm really excited about, is called When Detox Goes Bad, 5 Common Cleansing Mistakes and Why They Will Take Your Detox Down. I love that. Yes. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I decided to do this call mostly because I've worked with so many folks, and me included, who really have tried to do detoxes and fasts and cleanses. They've done all different kinds. They've done they've done like packaged ones, off the shelf kind of things. They've done group programs, this and that, and they still end up getting really discouraged. And a lot of times they end up feeling more like a failure than a success. And I've noticed both with clients and with myself that there are some real common things that really can get in the way of having, a positive experience with detoxing. And I really believe that detoxing can be a really important and helpful, very valuable piece of your self-care program, both for your physical health and your spiritual journey. So I want as many people as possible to experience detoxing as a real positive thing. And there are some basics that once you know them can really make a difference.
I'm excited to listen in because, I do detoxes pretty regularly, but I also feel like there's just lots of stuff that I don't know and ways that I can just even make it so much more better for myself. So I'm excited for it.
Good.
Yeah, good. Okay, so what's the date of the class?
The date is Wednesday, October 3rd.
Awesome.
And it's at 7:00 p.m. Eastern time.
You can sign up for Anne-Marie's free teleclass, When Detox Goes Bad, at www.nourishyourpurpose.com/detox call. And I'll have the links below as well. Thank you, Anne-Marie, so much for being here. What you've shared is so important. Definitely check out Anne-Marie's website, nourishyourpurpose.com. She's got so much information. Her e-zine is awesome. She sends recipes and good stuff and all kinds of things. Thank you for being here. So appreciate all the work that you do.
Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. My pleasure. Absolutely.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and also share it with your online community. And if you're not part of our I Love Intuition community of hip, heart-centered, awesome entrepreneurs, then come join us at iloveintuition.com. So have a magical day. Peace and blessings. Namaste.